craft with back and monthly biometric appointments alone. The next slide will look into more details of the changes at the back. Banks have slowly reduced operations. As of July 19, bank passport submission web software to online, enabling all the holders of passport letters to submit their passport. Please note that our bank office does not accept in-person passport submission. You should also refrain from sending your passport directly to the High Commission. Otherwise, they will return to you at a later date without a visa. We request your patience kindly wait for your polling services to confirm. Also, please note that all the visa applicants who do the biometric instruction register may book a biometric appointment at a bank in India using the online platform to clear the biometric Zomato nobody Given the current pandemic, you may use expired biometric instruction letters to book a biometric appointment at this time. With the back online booking tool, a visa applicant holding the VIS may book only one appointment. Attempts to book additional appointments are not permitted and delay visiting requests for other applicants. Attempts to book additional appointments scan the QR code where many of the other applicants. Once scanned, the document will continue to be updated on your phone if and when IRCC updates their information. There is no need to scan the QR code again. I'm sure that there are a number of to prove this study from examples is very deep. So let us go over some of the basics. For your submission to be considered an actual application, you need to submit upfront the following documents. The application form. You don't have an application unless you have submitted all of the documents. There is the application for a study permit and the family information form. If you are less than 17 years of age, you need to also submit a completed perseverance declaration to indicate who will be caring for you when you are in Canada. And if you decide to use the help of any fund with your visa application, you should also declare those by submitting the documents form. B. Lately, we have been seeing a number of applications missing fees, whether it is a missing fee or the binding fee. You need to submit both upfront. It is paid a fee receipt for a total of 235 Canadian dollars. Passport photos and a copy of your passport. A letter of offer of acceptance from a real lab in Canada. Usually, this should be an unconditional LOA. However, when accepted conditional anyway, you can also demonstrate as relevant evidence that you meet the conditions in your application. You should not submit your application until you have evidence to demonstrate that you meet the conditions as stated on your LOA. While this is the basic documents for an application to be considered, you should aim to provide all necessary supporting documents as well, which we will discuss in the next slide. This slide reflects the documents you need for the eligibility assessment. It covers both the STS and the non-STS stream. For student direct stream or the STS stream, you need a valid LOA, IELTS test result demonstrating 6.0 in each band, a receipt or documentation that the tuition has been paid for the first year, including all scholarships and grants, a receipt for eligibility for 10,000 Canadian dollars for most recent school transcripts, and a CAQ for Quebec bound students. For the non-student direct stream or the non-STS stream, here is what is different. In addition to the IELTS, you also need to test TOEFL and CTE test results. No online language test results will be accepted. Until the GMC ending of 2-year tuition, students are planning to pay for tuition, living expenses, and transportation for the first year of school. Plus, an explanation and evidence of how material to pay for all the remaining subsequent years of school without relying on voting and cash flow. Additionally, we strongly recommend that you submit a statement of purpose to be safe why you have chosen that program to study, why Canada, and explain your financial plans to pay for all your years of study. Note that if you are unable to submit a required document, for example, after medical, your application will be moved to the non-SDS stream. We strongly recommend that you only submit your application once you have all of the documents required for your eligibility assessment. Failure to provide a required document may result in the refusal of your application. Note that this is not a refusal based on non-compliance, but rather that you provided unsatisfactory evidence to either demonstrate your bona fide student or lack of funds for your purpose of travel. In these next two slides, we want to provide you with the information about the medical examination and eligibility. It's such a sign that applicants are reluctant to meet their medical because of fear of failure. Allow us to list some of these fears now. For permanent resident applicants and temporary resident applicants who will be staying in Canada for more than 6 months require medical exams. Okay, listed them on our website. Note that that position does not make the final decision about your medical exam. IRCC does. If there is a problem with your medical exam, we will contact you in writing. When can we take your medical exam? You have two options. You can do it before you submit your application. This is called upfront medical. To arrange this, please contact the panel physician directly to make an appointment. This is what we recommend everyone to do. Your other option is to wait until after you have submitted your application. If you choose this route, you must wait for IRCC to send you instructions. You will have 30 days to comply with these instructions. Failure to do so may result in the refusal of your application. Here is what you can expect during your exam. You must complete a medical history questionnaire, which will ask you about the previous or existing medical conditions. They will also ask you about any medications that you are taking. There is the physical examination. You research the doctor or the medical clinic staff will weigh you, measure your height, check your hearing and vision, take your blood pressure, feel your pulse, listen to your heart and lungs, feel your abdomen, check how your limbs move, and look at your skin. You have the right to shut down at any
लिंक
time
नीचे
during
देना
the medical
प्रेजेंटेशन
exam.
पर DM दियो मैं
You may ask the medical clinic to have a staff member stop the exam at any time to ask a question about what the doctor is doing. You can stop the exam and ask for a chaperone, even if you refuse one at first. And if you have questions or feel uncomfortable with the part of the exam, please ask the panel physician to stop and tell them about your concerns. We get 11 years of age or older. Urine test and blood test is mandatory for all applicants ages 15 and older. The blood test is to check for HIV, syphilis, TB, and liver infections. When you arrive, the family physician or clinic staff will ask you for the identification to confirm your identity. If you are referred for an X-ray or other test, you may be asked to present your identification again when you go for those tests. The picture will also be taken for our records. After your exam is done, the panel physician will send the results electronically to IRCC. This usually takes 2 to 3 days before it gets recorded in your execution file. But it could go up to 10 days. So please be patient. In case of additional tests required, we will let you know promptly if you need them. During the medical examination, you will be tested for tuberculosis, also known as TB. If the doctor finds signs of tuberculosis, you may be asked for additional tests to determine if your TB is old and inactive or if it is active. In most of the cases, TB is old and inactive and the medical can be finalized immediately. In a small percentage of patients, TB can be active. In those cases, it is important to know that anyone can get TB and it is transmitted through the air when a person is breathing up, sneeze, laugh, or sneeze. TB is contagious. It may be caused that very very low if you have TB, you will not be barred from going to cancer. You will, however, need to be fully treated before you start. TB can be treated, but it is very important to complete the full treatment. If you do not complete the full treatment, you can develop a form of TB that is more difficult to treat and you can infect people around you and those you love. Since we are on the subject of medical, it is extremely important for you to know that your medical must be valid at the time of your exam. For your knowledge, all the medicals are only valid for 1 year from the date of your initial exam. This means that if more than 1 year has elapsed since you did your medical exam, you must complete a new medical exam if you have not yet traveled to Canada and even though you already have a visa. Know that even though you have a travel visa, complete the application everywhere clarified. This only applies
ಇವತ್ತು
to
ನೀರು ಕಟ್ಟಿದ ಡ್ಯಾಶ್
you have not yet just gone down to Canada. You can only use your visa and then return to India for a short vacation in between the semesters. You will not need to take
ನೆಟ್ಟನ
multiple
ಬಂದು
medicals to transplant. So let us go over the process of ordering. The medical exam. If more than 1 year has elapsed, or even elapsed by the time you are ready to travel, you need a new medical certificate. To start, you need to contact your local family physician and book an appointment for an upfront medical exam. You will receive a document titled e-medical and has the following information: a UNI barcode, your personal details, and the date of your visit. You do not need to send this document to IRCC as a family physician who conducted your medical exam will send us the results electronically. Please bring it with you when you are traveling as CBSA may request to see this document at the port of entry when entering Canada. Many of you will have questions about working in Canada and how the current changes may affect your opportunity to be employed. To require this post-graduation work permit important for many students. Work experience provides a better opportunity to gain the language skills and work experience required to apply for a permanent resident status in Canada. In addition, Canada has some of the highest stipends for workers. Furthermore, persons with Canadian work experience are often able to demonstrate they have the skills, knowledge, and the critical thinking required to do the job. It is worth noting that you can obtain up to a 3-year visa. It all depends on the length of your eligible study. IRCC has introduced additional measures to provide maximum flexibility for students to obtain their PGW. First of all, you need to ensure that you meet the usual PGWP requirements. Check our website to ensure that the program in which you are enrolled makes you eligible for PGWP. You can study your program online and outside of Canada, and that time spent on studies will count towards your PGWP if you have been enrolled in a program that was in progress in March 2020, or you started a program between spring 2020 and winter 2021, and you have been approved for a study permit, or you applied for a study permit before starting towards a PGW. There is some breaking. You can now complete up to 100% of your program online up till December 31, 2021. You can even complete up to two programs, provided that your program is between 8 and 12 months in length, and you started your program of study between May and September 2020. Now, in the event that your first application may have been note that you can apply again, and if your subsequent application gets approved, all of the time on your studies will still count towards the PGW. The key is to apply before you begin your studies. This section applies to students already in campus. Essentially, if a student wishes to part-time studies or has to take a break in studies, for example, the spring semester may have been cancelled due to the pandemic, they may still continue to work on and off campus provided that they work previously as full-time students and already authorized to work on and off campus pre-pandemic. For our campus, the maximum limit is still 20 hours per week during academic break and full time during the regular academic break. School closure, part-time study, or semester cancellation due to COVID-19 do not count as critical during the academic break. We want to inform of the various fraud activities and misinformation related to immigration applications. We strongly advise you to download the ICCRC app. This app allows you to easily verify or find an authorized immigration consultant. If you want working with an agent in India, it is important to note that the agents are not authorized consultants and should not provide you with the immigration advice or submit an application on your behalf. They can only do administrative functions. Many of the agents used by DLIs are for the recruitment purpose and not for the immigration matters. Also, it is important to stay alert to fraud. There are some ways to do this. Protect yourself. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Never share your personal information with the unauthorized strangers. Fraudulent websites and scams. Websites they claim to be official government of Canada sites. They do restrict they do this to trick people into paying them money. Note that the application processing fees are fixed and have no additional charges. Email scams. IRCC will never send you an email from a private address. Emails may also appear to be coming from our office, but are actually coming from a scam. Learn how to expand the headings of the email address you receive to find out who is the actual sender. Telephone scam. IRCC will never ask you for any sort of payment per telephone. All fees must be paid online through our website. Unauthorized agents. Authorized agents include member of law societies in Canada, members of the Insurance State Vital in Quebec, and members of ICCRC, a regulatory body for immigration consultants in Canada. An authorized representative can provide you with the relevant tips to avoid paying too much money for an immigration service, as well as what you can expect. Any paid representative must be authorized. When you use an authorized representative and if they provide you with the incorrect information, you have recourse for it to be investigated through the ICCRC. If you use an unauthorized representative and they inform you, you have no recourse and should report them to your local police. Note that you can also use unpaid representatives who could be your family members and or trusted friends. Any person received, paid or not paid, must be declared on your application. If you need to contact us regarding your application, please only use the IRCC website. If you want to attach the additional information, if you want to attach the additional information to your application, send us a request via the web form, and we will create a line in your online account to which you can upload the documents yourself. This will require 5 business days before you can do this, so please be patient. application. There is no need to send us your entire document in a multiple ways because we just slow down the overall processing. If you want to verify if a visa is valid or to report fraud, please contact the fraud email address on the login. If you are reporting fraud in India, you must also report it to the local police. The other email addresses listed were covered in the presentation. Please only send a message to the IRCC COVID travel exemption maker if you need the travel exemption and require an explanation. For more information, here are the many ways to connect with us and to find the information. We have the IRCC website, the High Commission website, and the social media such as Facebook and Twitter. We use QR codes to provide you with the information because there is a lot to cover in a short presentation. If you need assistance with submitting an online application, again, please scan the QR. This provides you with a step-by-step guide on how to apply online. With this, we come to the end of our presentation. Thank you once again for your participation and your attention. We will now be addressing your questions.
Thank you, Shivani, for the presentation. Now we have our student and worker unit manager, Ms. Elena Balboa, to answer your questions. I request all of you to type your questions only in Q&A box and not the chat box. So let's start the Q&A session. So the first question reads, what is the estimated processing period if all documents associated with the study permit are received? Yeah, that's the question.
The application was received before May 15. We've made a commitment that we will process and make a decision on your application by August 6th. If you had either submitted your application after this date, or if your application was submitted before May 15 but incomplete at that time, there is no processing timeframe I can give you. What I can tell you is that we are trying to process applications as quickly as possible, and we hope to get to everybody's application in time for the September semester. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. So the next question is pertaining to the web form and the statement of purpose. So a client says that he had attached a web form containing SOP for application number XYZ, and that's because we strongly recommended it. And now how does he know whether it has been attached to his application? Thank you.
Please wait. You should receive a response indicating that we've created a line in your application and you can upload it yourself and attach it to your application yourself. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question pertains to the passport stamping. So the question reads, how long is the passport stamping process scheduled to take currently from the time the passport request letter is received? Having an idea of this timeline can help students schedule late starts with their universities and begin to draw estimations for their travel or arrival. This clarification would be extremely helpful now since direct flights from India are not opening and incoming fall students will need to travel to and quarantine in other countries. Thank you.
So for India specifically, keep in mind that there are 10 BACs across India. And for us to transmit documents from those BACs, between the BACs and between the clients, will take time, right? It is not immediate. And so for those clients who are submitting passports to us for the visa issuance, I strongly recommend that you do not make any travel bookings until you actually have your passport with visa in hand. The time frame to issue a visa really depends on volumes. For example, the last shipment we got from the BAC in terms of passports for visa issuance was over 4,000 passports in one shipment alone. And so for us to get through this load of passport submissions may take some time. Once we do get the passport printed and stamped, etc., to get it back to the client will again take time because we have to send it to the BAC, who then has to distribute it to the client using the courier service. So really, while the time frame isn't available, an exact time frame, I don't expect it to take a month. I expect it to take less than a month for sure. Whether it's a few weeks or whether it's 1 week, Really, I think depends on volume. But again, please don't make any travel plans until you actually have a visa in hand. Thank you.
All right, so the next question pertains to SP application and an open work permit application tagged along to it. I'm sure a lot of clients would want to hear the response. So the question goes like this. Is the study permit application processed if the application also has an open work permit for spouse included in the same application? I hear that combined applications like the SP and the open work permits are delayed as spouse work permits are not being considered priority at this time. Please confirm. Thank you.
So study permit applications with accompanying open work permit application for the respective spouse are being processed together. However, when there is an attached accompanying family member, it does increase the complexity of the case and will take longer to process. So they will not follow the same processing timeframe as other study permits that are submitted on its own. Just keep that in mind. It will be a longer process because there is a work permit attached. Thank you.
All right. So going on to the next question, it has two parts. I mean, it's from different clients, but pertains to the same category. So I'm just going to read it in parts. So the question reads like this. I applied for study permit and spousal open work permit along with visitor visa for my 1-year baby. What are the chances of us getting passport request letters at the same time? And going to the second part of the question, which is from another client, it reads, what are the funds requested, required to show if we need a visa for my baby? Thank you.
Hi, Lena. In case you're speaking, we're unable to hear you.
Sorry, pardon me. Can you repeat the first question, please?
Sure, Elena. So I applied for study permit and spousal open work permit along with visitor visa for my 1-year baby. What are the chances of us getting passport request letters at the same time?
So we're going to process your applications together and you will likely get the passport request letter at the same time. Note that since your child is on a TRB, in order to travel with you, they'll need a travel authorization letter to go to Canada. Thank you.
So another question which pertains to this, what are the funds required to show if we need a visa for my baby?
So the funds required to show is the principal applicant to the study permit applicant would be the same as if the baby was also another child accompanying. Thank you.
All right. So the next question reads, do visa officer consider students' backlog as a factor while making a decision even though he or she has scored well in IELTS and received admission in one of the Canadian colleges having above 70% in graduation?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Okay, so do visa officer consider students' backlog as a factor while making a decision even though he or she has scored well in IELTS and received admission in one of the Canadian colleges having above 70% in graduation?
I don't understand what this backlog is.
Backlog is like if they if they are unable to pass through a particular subject in one of the graduations, so that is considered a backlog, and they have another chance to clear that exam. Basically, they don't clear the required exams at the first go.
Okay, so your academic history factors into our assessment, and that we're trying to determine whether or not you would be academically ready to also complete your program in Canada. And so if you have a history of not doing well in school, if you are barely passing most of your classes, or if you failed a lot of your classes, like this is going to factor adversely in terms of your eligibility for a study permit. If you've been getting like relatively good grades, so in this case, like you said you were getting about 70%, and you only have, was it one course where you have this quote unquote backlog, this shouldn't factor so adversely in your case. Thank you.
All right. So the next question reads, how do you decide if a student leaves Canada after study or not?
So when we ask for a statement of purpose, this is us asking you to tell us why you've chosen this program, how it's going to pertain to your future career, what you're going to do with it, and what are your ties? Like what is going to motivate you to leave Canada at the end of your authorized date? Like really, this is what we're expecting out of the statement of purpose, and for you to explain to us, you know, what are you going to do with this program? Like, how are you, if you're going to come back to your home country, India, for example, this program that you study in Canada, how is this going to be useful for you? Explain this to me. That's what I would like to hear. Thank you.
Okay, the next question is about the travel ban and students who would be able to travel after the travel ban is lifted. So the question reads like this. If I want to go to Canada during my first semester while studying online from India after the travel ban is lifted, do I require some kind of permission documents either from college or from IRCC?
No, you do not. Thank you.
Sorry, I was on mute. So the next question pertains to the class 12 results. So the question reads like, I submitted SES file in early June without 12th class results as they are yet to come, but with unconditional offer. What impact does this make on the file?
So I'm hoping that you've submitted your transcripts for your previous years of school. And if you have any interim 12 marks or predictive grades, that you've also included that as part of your application. That way we can look at whether or not you've been an academically serious student to determine if you might be able to actually, you know, academically perform well in your future studies in Canada. If you provided all of this documentation along with an unconditional letter of offer, we'll be able to proceed with your application. Thank you.
Thanks, Elena. So the next question is about students who want to go and study their physical presence in the universities because they feel some of the courses are, they need physical attendance. So the question reads like this. Some universities in Canada are expecting an in-person class from fall 2021 onwards, but many students are yet to receive their passport request letters. Could IRCC help students in negotiating with the universities to provide online classes till December 21st? It would be great. I mean, it would greatly ease our situation. Thank you.
You need to talk to your schools directly. This is beyond IRCC's jurisdiction. Thank you.
All right. So, what exactly does it mean to have a quarantine plan in place despite being vaccinated? Does this mean I have to book a hotel package for the quarantine period? And what am I supposed to do with my bookings if I am exempted from quarantine or on arrival at the border? Won't this result in significant financial loss?
So you don't need to book a 3-day mandatory hotel stay. So for your 14 days of potential quarantine, in case you test positive at the port of entry arrival test, you just need to tell the officers where will you be staying. Will you be able to self-isolate from anybody else who might be staying in the same residence? For example, like if you're alone in a hotel room or if you're alone in an apartment, this would be sufficient for a quarantine plan. Explain to the officers how you would be able to obtain food or obtain medicine, like are you using delivery services, that sort of thing. So they just want to make sure in case you do test positive, are you able to self-isolate in the place that you're intending to live when you do arrive in Canada? And if you can show this, it doesn't have to be a hotel stay. It could be an apartment that you've rented for yourself to stay in when you're in Canada, when you're studying already. But you need to make sure that you won't be coming into close contact with anyone else in the place that you indicated would be your quarantine plan location. Thank you.
All right. The next question pertains to the financial proof that they need to submit with their application. So the question reads like, is chartered accountant account report considered by VO as proof of bank liquid funds and immovable property? Thank you.
So immovable property has no value for us. Why? Because it's not money. Until you've actually sold that property, you have no funds to pay for your purpose of travel using these assets or property. Statements from accountants are just statements from people you've paid money to provide you this document. They're not actual evidence. So for me, what I would like to see are bank statements, are ITRs, are, for example, employment letters or source of income. Show me the provenance of the funds that you're showing us to support your application for travel. Thank you.
All right. So the next question reads like, what is dual intent? How can we prove that that they will leave Canada even if they applied for a permanent resident application, even if they have a permanent resident application going on?
So dual intent basically means that they intend to submit or have already submitted a permanent residence application. However, they're also applying for a temporary residence application, in which case, I'm assuming here is a study permit, where they can go to Canada temporarily. What you need to explain to us is, in case that PR application is refused, what will motivate you to leave Canada and to return to your country of residence, or to your country of your home country? So what do you intend to do with your study program? How are you going to use it for your future career plans? Will it be useful for you? Like when you go home to your home country, like whatever you studied, can you actually use it in your home country? Would you be able to get a job? Explain this to us. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question reads like, does the complete application submission before May 15 and decision by August 6 goes the same for SDS category as well?
Yes, it applies to both SDS and non-SDS. Thank you.
Okay. This the next question says, students who are enrolled online for studies are allowed to travel midterm if their presence is not required in Canada?
So as long as your classes are ongoing, yes, you can travel midterm to go to Canada, even if those classes are online. So the point is, like in terms of travel and how long, and the 4-week maximum restriction that we are telling you that you shouldn't travel to Canada until at maximum 4 weeks before the start of your classes. So this is either online classes or in-person classes, it doesn't matter. So if you're mid-semester online, it's fine for you to travel to Canada. Thank you.
So this question is quite interesting. So I hope all of the clients who have heard this news will now be, will have a clear information. So the question reads like, there is a rumor circulating in the Indian market that study permit applications, which include open work permit applications for spouse, are usually rejected, and one should apply open work permit for spouse only after the student reaches Canada. Please clarify. Canada.ca website says student can apply for both visas at the same time. Yes, thank you.
So the website is correct. You can apply for both visas at the same time. We do not have such blanket instructions that these applications will be refused. Every application is assessed on their own merits. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question is about the travel bans and the August 6th deadline. So the question reads like, is the August 6th deadline still valid even after flight ban have extended to August 21st?
Sorry, can you repeat that last part, please?
So they're asking the August 6th deadline, is it still valid even after the flight ban has been extended to August 21st?
So the flight ban has nothing to do with the August 6th commitments. They're two separate things. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question reads, is there any difference in processing time for SDS and general category visa application during COVID-19?
Yes, so SDS is always a priority over non-SDS. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question is about contacting IRCC. So the question reads, will calling IRCC for status and eligibility affect the result?
Yes, it will slow down your results. Thank you.
All right. The next question is pertaining to the closure of VACs. In India, due to closure of VACs, we were unable to give biometrics before 15th May. But we locked our files before 15th May and we received BVL too. Can we expect our decision on time on or before August 6th?
No. So applications must be complete, including with biometrics, by May 15 in order to be considered for the August 6 commitment. Just note that this temporary policy is meant globally. It's not just for India. So while I realize that a lot of Indian students may be excluded from this policy, it does still affect and impact a lot of students globally. Thank you.
Okay, so the next question is about the eligibility and the admissibility. So after passing eligibility and admissibility, is it possible to get refused? Are there any chances?
Those are the only two types of assessments. So no, thank you.
Okay, so the next question is about the conditional LOA. So the question reads, can I submit my application with a conditional LOA and upload my firm LOA later once I receive it from the college?
We will refuse your application if you submit it with a conditional LOA. Please do not submit an application with a conditional LOA. Thank you.
So the next question reads, does the receipt does the receipt of BVL mean that the decision is ready?
The receipt of the BVL essentially tells you that you have valid biometrics for the next 10 years. That's all it's telling you. Thank you.
Okay, so another question again asked about the web form. So the client is writing, while submitting the web form, is it necessary that they fill the details of the office that is processing their study permit? Thank you.
Yes, you should always include the office who's processing your case. That way it's easier to triage your question or your web form to the correct office. Thank you.
Okay, so we have reached the end of questions, Elena. So before we wrap up, do you want to add something?
So I just want to thank everybody for tuning in. I sincerely hope that you find this useful. I encourage all of you to follow us on our social media platforms, so Facebook, Twitter, and please also have a look at our website, www.canada.ca/immigration for the latest updates on travel restrictions and program changes. We are working very hard to try to get decisions on all of your applications by the fall semester. Please try to refrain from sending us inquiries or update requests through our web form because we'd really like to focus on decision making at this time. We really do appreciate your patience and we understand that it is a frustrating and anxious time for you. Thank you again for tuning in. Stay safe, and we hope to see you in Canada one day. Bye for now.
Thank you. Stay safe. Thank you. Bye.